Welcome to another episode of Behind the Needle. Today we're here with Hailey Viterbo, the owner of Blendid Skincare, and I'm stoked for her to be on here today. We're going to dive right into it.
All right, let's do it.
The first question that I want to ask is, do you judge people if they have plastic? Because I have a plastic water bottle here today. And I look over and my sound guy hands her bottle and it's the premium largest bottle that you could have. But the answer is no, she's not judging me. Anyways,
I will try to convince you to switch over.
I know I need to. I know.
Plastic is so bad for you.
I know it's bad. I know. Maybe this is going to be different than I thought. Maybe we're going to talk about health.
Yes.
And gut health.
Health is a major part of skincare. So.
It is, right? Well, yep. Why don't we start there then?
Okay.
What is the difference between, what have you learned? What's the difference between drinking out of a plastic bottle versus a glass one?
So these bottles being glass are not allowing the chemicals that plastic has to seep into the water. And especially when temperatures fluctuate, those chemicals are just really seeping into the water.
The chemicals are chemicaling.
They're chemicaling. And so glass bottles in general are the best, but this spring water is so good and it has the least amount of toxins and it's amazing. And it has a lot of minerals in it. So you can actually tell a difference drinking the water, which is crazy.
All right.
I feel like those waters, you're still thirsty because I feel like it doesn't actually
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I feel thirsty right now, but this is all I have, so I'm rationing.
Well, next time I'll bring you one.
No, those are too expensive to share. You can't share those.
No, it's fine.
I am really excited to have you here. We met in person a few months ago when I was speaking at the Skin Better conference. Shout out Cassie.
Yes, we love Cass.
But it was very awesome watching you speak to everybody. I think that was your first time speaking.
Yeah, in front of a bigger crowd for sure.
Yeah. And this is your first podcast.
It is my first podcast.
And you were throwing up a little bit.
Yeah,
out of
I was
nerves.
super nervous. But I'm really excited to be here. So.
I wanted you on here because I've watched your stories for several months now and have been so impressed.
Thank you.
With your consistency and also your content.
Thank you.
And I was like, man, how long has she been doing this? And you've been doing this for a decade.
Yep, 10 years.
You've been doing this for 10 years.
10 years in the making.
And let's talk about this because I think a lot of people will see you and be like, wow, she's doing it so great. I could never be that good. But that's the difference, is they just started within the last 1-2 years.
Yes.
Or they've never posted anything.
Right. And I don't feel like it even really matters. I mean, yes, with education and experience, that is a major thing within the industry. But I also think that where the industry is now from where I started, it's just so different. You can build a clientele so fast, even if you just start from social media. And so people that have just graduated aesthetic school and then jump in and start a business already can be busy within, X amount of time.
Yeah.
But I do feel like I've heard from a lot of people from where I am now, oh my gosh, you're so lucky, blah, 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 whatever. And I'm I am lucky and I am blessed, but it's taken a lot of hard work to get to where I am.
Are they saying you're lucky because you have followers, or why are they saying you're lucky?
Not necessarily followers. I think just my storefront, employees, what I post about, what I do, my life in general, because on my Instagram, I feel like I post a mixture of business, work, and my personal life.
Steak.
And so, yeah, a lot of steak.
Steak and golf.
Steak, golf.
The dog.
Hazel, she's my number one girl.
Yes.
But yeah, it's taken a lot of work and 10 years in the making, and I've had my business for next year will be 9. So
amazing.
Yeah.
The difference between you and a lot of other med spa owners, but also just providers in general, to me, is that you're consistent.
Yes.
How do you find the ability, or how have you developed the ability to stay so consistent? Has it always been easy for you?
I don't know about easy, because I think even with posting on social media, it's another full-time job. I try to stay as consistent as I can just because, well, I also love it. Like I love my followers and talking to people and meeting people. And so that's really special. But if you're not consistent, you kind of become irrelevant. So you have to be consistent or else there's 10 million of other people who do exactly what you do.
It's true.
And are posting about exactly what you post about, especially like skincare wise. So yeah, it just becomes like a second nature, I guess, to like be consistent.
Do you always want to post?
No. Not always. I think
sometimes you
do.
But
if I don't want to, then I don't force myself to, because I think that can become like another like toxic environment. I always want to love what I do. Yeah. So
you always want to love what you do.
Right.
And so if you're not loving what you're doing when you're posting, the energy of that is going to get pushed into
your
content.
Followers and clients can like sense that, you know, like if something seems forced or just like so salesy or what, I don't ever want to be like that. If I post something, it's genuine. I love it, whether it's work or personal life, you know? So I would never just post something just to post something. I feel like I'm very like intentional with what I post. And I feel like hopefully my Instagram is a reflection of me as a person, you know, because I post like all together, like work and my life.
Yeah. How do you decide what's post worthy and what's not?
My stories, I think I kind of just post whatever.
Well, I don't think that's the right way of saying it. You don't post whatever. You know that if something is going to be good or not, generally, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess now that's just like second nature to me.
It's second nature. So you post a lot about what you're doing that day, the fun things around the office, Hazel the dog, golf, steak, the house that you now...
I know, just bought a house.
You closed on your house, which is awesome. The first one fell through. Then you found another one immediately and got it done. And you moved in record time. I was like, did somebody like come in and just put all this in? She just closed and she already is like... I
know. I'm like psycho in that way. I'm like, I need things to be like comfortable and like the way that I need them. And my movers are really great. But
also, if you own a closet remodeling company... She's using every closet in her house.
Yeah, I have a clothes problem for closets, but actually my goal is to turn my fourth bedroom into
a full closet.
Yeah. So then I'll just have one closet, you know? It's only me, so I really don't think
that's a bad idea.
A third guest bedroom. So
do you even want that many people staying at your house?
No, and really the only people that ever stay at my house is my family, and so 2 rooms is plenty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
it might be a little extra, but you know, like that's been my dream. I'm like, I want like a get ready room, a closet, like that. Every girl wants that. That's like goals. And I'm like, I can do that. I just bought a house. So like, why not turn it into what I want it to be?
Okay.
You know?
So if you work for or own a closet remodeling company,
hit me up because I'm in desperate need.
Here she is, your next client.
Literally.
So you kind of have figured it out. I think that when I consult med spas, I tell them, you've got to figure out what you like talking about first of all. And then you have to see what your audience likes you talking about as well. Because I love talking about fitness stuff, but my audience is primarily female, I think mostly because of my wife and the bleed over from there, but they don't really care about 99% of my fitness journey. Yeah. And so I don't talk about it at all.
Yeah. The interesting thing about that though is I feel like you would be surprised on like who actually is interested in it, because even when I've done like certain things, like asking people like, oh, do you care about like my personal life, me posting that, or should I keep it strictly skincare? And everyone is like, we want to know, we want to know, we want to know. They want to know everything like about your life, down to like when I do a shopping trip and they're like, show us everything you got. We want to see everything. And so in your head, you're like, no one's going to care about that. It's like a silly little thing. But like I have a lot of people that are like, we want to see, we want to see. And I think that's the difference of me, is mixing the skincare with my personal life. People love watching me talk about skincare because obviously I'm super passionate about that, but incorporating like my personal life is really fun too, because it just makes it feel like me, you know?
Do you know why people are interested in your personal life?
I mean, I guess because I mean, I don't know 100%, but I'm assuming because Blendid collectively, like my brand, I mean, it started off obviously as just me. So I guess that's why, but I don't know.
I think it's because they see you and you're doing really well in many areas of your life.
Thank you.
And so people will see that and they'll be like, I am interested in learning more.
Yeah.
If they didn't see that you were succeeding in multiple aspects, they wouldn't want to see stuff about your personal life.
Yeah, I know. And it's hard because I know, like, I'm very blessed. My business has been really successful. And even with all the employees that I have now, I'm very thankful. But also it's kind of hard to give yourself credit sometimes and be like, you're doing really good. You're killing it, because I'm like such a like type A, like drive person. It's like, okay, what's next? What's the next level I want to get to?
Yeah.
So sometimes I have to kind of take a step back and be like.
So when I said that, were you like, oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad you.
Yeah. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm
glad you receive it.
Yeah.
That is important. And I also think being grateful, being type A.
Yep.
When you receive that, it allows you to continue to push beyond where you currently are.
Yeah, I agree.
And being appreciative and grateful for where you are doesn't take away from your drive or ambition to continue to go to the next levels either.
I agree.
It fuels it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think it's hard, like social media is a very important tool, but I think it can also be a very like toxic tool as well. Not only like being a woman and seeing other women on social media and that aspect, but in our industry, whether you are in aesthetics or an injector, I think it's really hard because you're always comparing yourself to the next person, or someone's comparing themselves to you. And imposter syndrome is like a very, very huge thing in our industry. And I don't think it's really talked about enough. Because you can be doing so well, but then you see someone else and automatically think that they're doing better than you, and you have no idea. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter the amount of followers you have. It matters how many clients are coming in your door and are happy and are coming back. And so that's why, like, sometimes even with my Instagram, I'm like, oh, I only have 20,000 followers. But at the end of the day, I'm like, but I also have, you know, X amount of clients that are coming in our door every single day, and a business where I have multiple employees now seeing clients. So that's where I think it's hard with social media, but social media is also like such an important and amazing tool at the same time.
Yeah. Let's unpack this a little more.
Yeah.
Because you're hitting on a lot of topics.
Yeah.
And there's so many that you can go deeper.
Yes.
So let's do that with this one. When you say, I only have 20,000 followers.
Yeah.
The majority of providers and med spas don't.
Yes.
So that doesn't mean that you can't feel that way.
Yes.
I think, and tell me what you think about this. I think that looking at where you are, you have to realize that, like, if it's this arm rest, right? You're here.
Yep.
And you've done everything that you've done in order to get where you are.
Yeah.
You have so much in front of you, but in order to continue growing, you have to continue to do the things in order to grow.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
What does that look like? You just hired 2 people in the past year. How long has Brooke been with you?
Brooke's been with me, I think March will be 3 years.
And then Becca just started when?
Becca started, I want to say like towards the beginning of the year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Natalie was within the last 4 months.
Couple months. Yeah.
Yeah. 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
Summer.
Yes.
And then, so if you look at that, you doubled your team this year.
Yeah.
And they're doing good.
Yes.
And I was watching what you were doing when in the summer after, I think, didn't Becca get laser certified this summer?
No, she got laser certified, I think, last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
But as she has been coming on, I've been watching what you're doing, and the same thing you've been doing with Natalie. You collaborate with them in your stories.
Yes.
And you get treated by them.
Yes.
And you are in the content with them. You're not saying, go build your social media.
Correct.
You are showing them how you've done it.
Yes.
And you're saying to all of the people that follow you and who see your stuff, hey, these girls are legit.
Yes. And they're a reflection of me and Blendid.
They are. and you're bringing everything up together.
Yes.
A rising tide lifts all ships.
Yes. And it's hard. Like, I even sometimes beat myself up about that. Like, I'm not doing enough. I'm not posting enough about them. But it's hard to do all the things all the time. So I do it when I feel the timing's right, or if there's something that I'm trying to educate people on or have them educate people on. Yeah, they're great girls, though. I'm so blessed.
And you do it right. Because you are there supporting them, they feel empowered.
Yes. We're a team. So it's not just like you're on your own, figure it out. Like, everyone that steps into Blendid knows that we're a family, we're a team, and everyone is going to be giving the exact same treatment that I would have done when it was just me.
I walked in there a few months ago and brought you guys dairy-free, vegan, grain-free, gluten-free,
all the frees.
The treats themselves were not free.
No, those were not.
They were not free, but everything else about the thing was free.
Yes.
And you liked it, right? It was good.
Yes.
You weren't there.
I wasn't there, but the girls loved it, and they did save me a little treat, so I came and got it. But
good, I'm glad.
Yes.
Why I brought this up was because when I walked in, you're in Old Town Scottsdale, like right in the center.
Yep.
And the vibe changed from when I was outside to inside.
Good.
And it was comfortable. There were pink Starbursts everywhere.
Yeah.
There was water to drink, not in a plastic bottle.
I want everyone to feel comfortable, like they're at home and they're getting a treatment. And a lot of our clients that come in the door struggle with something, whether it be acne, pigmentation, or whatever.
External circumstances that they
exactly
can't avoid.
And that in general can already put you in a really like vulnerable place. And so when you walk in, I want you to feel safe and comfortable and know that you're going to be getting an amazing treatment and not feel judged.
How do you create that? Do you sit there and you're looking around and you're like, how do I feel in my space today?
Yes. And I've changed it like multiple times. If there's something I don't like, I'm like, okay, we're redoing it. I try to like keep my space like up to date and not only like cozy, but clean and
demure.
Yes, very demure.
You wanted to say it, didn't you?
Yeah, I just like, I want Blendid to always be a reflection of me. And even if I'm not there, it's still going to be that. So if I walk in, the candles are lit. If I'm not there, the candles are lit. The lights are on. The mood is set. It smells good. It's comfortable. The products are always stocked full. Yep. It's not chaotic. It just, if you need something, someone's always there to help you. You're never like lost or not knowing what's going on. Someone's there to like guide you from the second you walk in, through the treatment, after, and also when you leave. We're always there to like guide you, help you, ask us questions. I never want someone to just like assume or guess. Even when it comes to skincare, please text us and we will help you.
Where did you learn this level of customer service? Is it because you grew up on a ranch?
Yeah, the cows taught me.
The cow whisperer?
Yeah.
Where did you learn this?
I don't know. I think both of my parents were entrepreneurs, and so I think they kind of instilled that into me being young, and I don't really know. I can't really say. I think I've just kind of had it instilled in me. And I do have like a very type A personality, so I like things to be generally like perfect if they can be, or at least as close. Nothing's ever going to be perfect, but yeah, it's just.
I think that you have a really good sense of awareness.
Thank you.
I think that people who are aware of themselves and their external their surroundings are able to curate a place where people can feel exactly how they want them to.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you will continue to win as long as you continue to evolve.
And I know, like, if I was going to get a treatment somewhere, what I would want. Yes. And that is what Blendid is. So if it's, and I've had multiple experiences, like going other places and it being a really bad experience.
Where did you go? I'm just don't answer that.
I was like, I'm not telling you. I would never name any names, but there's been multiple circumstances, whether it be a facial or even with laser, like I've been burned by someone else at a different med spa, and I'm like the palest person ever. It's pretty hard to burn me, you know? So I think it's just, if you're not educated in what you're doing and you're not 100% confident, you should not be doing it.
Right.
You should never touch someone's face if you're not like, oh, I could do this with my eyes closed.
Yeah.
So that's where, even with training with the girls, like my training, I feel like is pretty extensive compared to like probably some places where they're like, okay, yeah, I'll watch for like a couple days and then good luck, figure it out. I'm like, okay, basically like 2 months where like you're learning the ins and outs. And again, everything
day
is
in, day out.
Yeah. And you're shadowing. I'm watching what you're doing. You're watching what I'm doing. And same with Brooke. And so, yeah, new girls that I bring on, it's like, this is how we do things. And this is how we maintain.
Are you hiring?
Not hiring right now.
When will you make your next hire? Do you have room?
I don't have room. I'm out of room.
You're out of room. And unfortunately, we haven't talked about this yet.
Yes.
The space that you were hoping to get fell through.
Yes, it did fall through, but that's okay. Everything happens for a reason. I know God has other plans for me and probably bigger and better.
Yeah.
So I was sad about it, but now I'm like, it wasn't meant to be.
Well,
so.
I told you this in August. I was asking you, I'm like, so what's the plan? Are you going to continue to grow? You're like, yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to do a build out. You're all excited about it. I'm like, cool. How big is it? You're like 2,000 square feet. I'm like, what?
I know. You're like, that's crazy.
I'm like, Hailey.
I know. And that's kind of
you
when
need,
it got
you need
down
like
to
a 4,000 to 5,000 square footer.
I know. And
for
it's
the next
so
2
crazy.
years. And then you're going to need either a second location or sooner, or another bigger space.
Yeah, that is my goal too. I would love to have a second location up north, like where I'm from in Prescott. I think there's a lot of opportunity for growth
the
there.
Prescott girls listening to this right now.
I actually have probably like 6 steady clients that drive down from Prescott 1 to 2 times a month just to see me.
Wow.
And Brooke actually has 2 clients that drive from Prescott as well.
Is she from there too?
She's not.
Okay.
She's not, but just from my Instagram and people have got connected with her. And so
I'm grateful for you that this didn't work out, because you would have been like, gosh, dang it.
Well, and I'm glad that it didn't, because buying a house and also a potential build out at the same time was already like rattling my brain along with working. So I was like, okay, this is a good thing. It's going to happen. So my lease isn't up until August anyways, so I have a couple months to like figure out what I'm gonna do.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's crazy to even be at that point though. Like I remember starting out, I was in a room the size of this chair, like it was so small, and I had no clients, and I had just quit a job that I worked at for 2 years and at a different like small med spa, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to afford to pay, this couple $100s a month rent in this little tiny room with no clients, along with, buying all the like supplies that you need.
Yeah.
And it kind of just blew up, which is amazing. And eventually like I just started getting more and more clients, and it was like very like organic growth, but I have clients that have literally been with me for 10 years.
I want to ask what several of the things are that you have done. And I think instead of diving deep on like one, take me back to sitting in the yellow chair that was the size of your room. What are several of the things, just like rattle them off, that you can remember that you did to grow that clientele? Because the dream for many, not all, but for many providers is, I want to go out on my own.
Yeah.
I want to be my own boss. I think they think that it looks differently than it does.
1000%. And I think it's also going out on your own is a very, not only scary, but
hard. It's really hard.
Very expensive. It's very time consuming, and you don't get to just go 9 to 5 and then at 5 o'clock be like, okay, that was fun. Bye. You're working 24/7 basically. Like the second you go to bed, from the second you wake up, you're doing something for your business.
Like this. This 100%. Is your day off.
Yeah. And I'm going into work after this to do a meeting and then do stuff around the office.
Yeah,
so,
you could be meal prepping your steak for the week right now.
I know.
But you're
and I actually do have to do that today. I just gotta pack.
I'm so happy. So rattle off some things that you can think of for the newbie thinking of going out on their own.
Yes. I think being very honest is number one with your clients.
Customers.
Yes, because people can tell if you're not being genuine or you're just trying to sell something. Like, I'm never going to recommend a product unless I truly think it will benefit the client or change their skin. I think going into like super salesy mode just feels forced, and people aren't dumb. They know that, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's number one, having like integrity and being honest.
Mm-hmm.
And I think being true to yourself and your brand, and also figuring out like where your niche is and what you want to like dive into, because you really can't do it all. You need to be like, I really love, you know, corrective skincare, or I really love waxing, or I really love whatever. There's so many different things you can do in the industry. If you're doing too many things, it's too hard to focus on and really become a master in your craft. So for us, our main thing is acne and pigmentation.
You do a lot of acne boot camps.
A lot of acne. And I actually struggled with acne. I never had acne growing up. And then I became an adult and all of a sudden got acne. And I was like, what the heck is going on? Yeah. And it was after I graduated aesthetic school. And
really?
Yeah. And so that, being an esthetician, you're helping people with acne, and then you have acne and you're like, spiraling. Like, how am I going to confidently tell someone I can help clear their acne when I have acne? You know?
That's crazy. Maybe
that was very hard.
Maybe
mentally.
I bet.
Yes.
Maybe that happened and you used it as an opportunity.
100%. And I think I always say this, I'm like, I feel like God did that to me to be able to like almost like humble myself, to be able to like relate with clients and be like, I feel for you. I know how this is, and it's a terrible thing, because if you've truly never had acne, you can't feel for someone on a level of it affects you in all aspects, mentally, physically, emotionally. You want to sometimes not even leave your house because you're just so embarrassed, or it's painful, or, you know, there's so many different other things.
Acne hurts.
It hurts. And it, even though it shouldn't be, it is embarrassing. So people don't want to go out. They don't want to live their lives like they should just because of a pimple or however many you have, you know? So anyways, I ended up clearing my acne. I think a lot of it had to do with like stress and hormones and just collectively a bunch of different things. So now though,
drinking out of plastic water bottles.
Yes, the plastic did it.
Were you back then?
Oh yeah.
Oh, well that's.
Yep. I feel like my life now is so different than I've like done a full like 180 with like diet, just being healthy from the inside, but also healthy mentally, where I am spiritually. And I feel like collectively, all of that makes a really big difference in your life. And I feel like that also makes me be able to help people better. Yeah.
Because I do believe too, that what you eat dictates how you feel and
100%.
How you look. I do believe that 100%. It makes sense.
Yes. Well, there's a lot of foods that trigger acne as well. So that's a huge, huge thing.
Yes.
We, with our clients,
bread. Does bread?
It can.
But it doesn't.
Not everyone.
Okay,
not
good.
everyone. This is the thing that's really hard, is what you eat isn't going to affect everyone the same way. So yes, like seed oils, terrible for you. No matter what, I feel like all people should really try to like stay away from seed oils and like processed sugars. Everything that's processed right now in our daily diet is not good for your body. But acne wise,
like to any level, like I eat a Hershey Kiss, I eat a Pink Starburst.
Not really. I think if it's like more, like if it's just once in a while, that's fine. Yeah. But if someone's doing it every day or multiple times a day, or that's like
the staple
majority of their diet. Dairy is more
effect.
of one of the bigger ones for acne. But there's like a lot of other things. Like some people can be triggered by eggs. Some people can be triggered by gluten. Depending on what your sensitivities are too.
So when someone comes to see you, because you're not a registered dietitian, right?
Correct.
So when someone comes to see you, how do you help them? Do you put them on elimination stuff?
So
do you say, here's what I did, go figure it out, but here's what will work based off of what I know, and like,
right.
here's your
We
skincare
try to
routine?
guide them. Of course, we're not doctors, so we can't say this is what you need to do, but we give our guidance. So we have like a whole list printed out for people. These are acne triggering foods. One by one, start to eliminate, see if your skin starts to clear along with doing in-office stuff and products. And if it doesn't, we kind of move on to the next thing. And if it does, then I say you should probably stick with it. And then eventually we'll see what's going on. But I think a lot of it comes from the gut regardless. So if someone has a really inflamed gut and they're not going to the bathroom, they're eating all this terrible stuff, the toxins are just going to come out of your skin. So that's one of the big things. And hormones, another one. Food can also affect your hormones. So we always recommend people to go to a naturopath, get your blood work done, see where you're at. If you need to do a food sensitivity test, you can. But we try to guide people as much as we can. We have supplements that we recommend people to at least start on, and we try to handhold as much as we can until someone having to go to the next step.
And I think that that's smart. It's like anybody can be like, well, I'm just going to go off of eggs for a month and see how I react to it.
Right. And some people's skin clears, and that's the thing.
Wow.
Other people, like, it doesn't, and then we move on, and that's great. Like, I don't want someone to feel like they have to cut every single food group and all of these foods out, because that can just create a whole nother set of issues. And especially if people have like eating disorders or something like that, I would never want them to feel like I'm telling them not to eat anything. It's just like, all right, let's start with one thing, see how you feel. Does your inflammation go down along with doing the other supplements that we're recommending? And living a healthy, active lifestyle, you're going to feel better. So even with like how I eat now, like with my steak, like I eat a lot of red meat, I eat a lot of steak, I eat majority like whole foods. Yes, I have my cheat meals, and I love to like go to dinner and eat whatever I want. And I think not limiting myself or restricting myself has like truly changed my body and my mind to where I can eat what I want, but generally during the week, like I'm eating super clean, and that's a reflection of like my skin and my body and everything.
My sister-in-law, do you know what intuitive eating is?
No.
Intuitive eating is exactly what it sounds like.
Okay.
Eating things that make you feel good.
Yes.
But not restricting, but also listening to your body when it says, I'm hungry, or what it wants, or I'm full. Most especially, I'm full.
Well, and I think that's the thing with processed food is you don't really get full for a long time,
or with
and
the
you
right
just
nutrients.
you're not fueling your body. So your body's constantly looking for something to make it feel better. And when you're just giving it fake processed things, it's not able to thrive.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So steak, like, I mean, I grew up on a ranch. My parents have a cattle ranch. So I grew up with being around red meat my whole life. But growing up actually was like sick of steak. And I was like, I can't eat this anymore. I know it sounds weird, but just within the last like year, I feel like I've really reincorporated it. And majority of my diet is red meat now. And I've never felt better.
For a couple of years ago, I was doing the same. I would have steak every day.
Yeah. People are like, why do you eat steak so much? I'm like,
it's so good.
It's so good. And I feel great, and I'm full, and I feel like all aspects of, from your hair to literally your skin to everything, it just like makes you feel amazing.
But I think that this is, it goes back to what you were saying, right? Like every body will react differently to 100%. What you put in it.
Yes.
And so this makes sense.
Yeah.
I really like the approach that you take to how you start on the inside and what you're doing there.
Yeah.
I like how you're not forcing it down people's throats either.
Yeah. I never force anything. I'm like, this is my guidance. This is what I think.
Yeah.
As much as you put into it is what you'll get out of it.
Yeah.
So,
and it goes back to your brand.
Yes.
You're just showing what you do.
Yes, exactly.
You're not saying this is the only way to get rid of acne.
Correct.
You're
and
like,
it's so different for every person, like we said. So acne is not a one size fits all. It's so different for every single person. And it depends on the type of acne, whether it be inflamed or non-inflamed. And so there's so much that goes into it, but you know, you have to go down the whole path in order to figure it out. And with your skin being clear and you feeling good, there's truly nothing better. Like there really isn't, especially when you've had acne and then you don't have acne anymore. You're like, I will do anything to stay like this, you know?
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's shift gears a little.
Okay.
We talked a little bit about imposter syndrome. Mm-hmm. Is there anything else you want to talk about there, or should we? It kind of segues into what I want to talk about next. But is there anything else that you wanted to share about that?
I think with the imposter syndrome, you just need to know that no matter what, as long as you're being true to yourself and you're trying your absolute best, that's all that matters. Like, you don't need to compare yourself to other people because you actually don't even know how well someone else is doing. They can make it seem like they're going above and beyond and killing it when in reality, they don't even have any clients coming in the door. So I think stay true to yourself, stay true to your brand, and just be you. And your clients will find you. Your clients will find you. So I think that's the main thing with that.
I want to say something too. One of the things I like that you and Brooke do, and Becca does this too.
Yeah.
Is you'll talk about what you're doing that day. Mm-hmm. And your schedule is just stacked.
I know.
But you don't work 5 days a week.
Correct.
You're not seeing patients 5 days a week.
Yes. My schedule this year just changed.
So someone has to keep that in mind when they're like, she just treated 13 people today.
Yeah.
And I treated 2.
Right.
I'm not where she is.
But even the 2 clients that you have, you should be going above and beyond and treat them like gold, because every client that walks in the door, whether I'm seeing 1 or 10 clients in the day, I want everyone to have the exact same experience and know that like they're getting an amazing treatment, but also like we're connecting and we're having fun and they're getting results with their skin. And so if you have 1 client in the day or you have 10 clients in the day, retain that client, keep that client, love on that client. And that 1 client will eventually refer you someone else. And that's just how it happens.
That's how it happens.
Yep.
There's no one else that's more important than the person that you're with right then.
Exactly. And so that is so important. Like with our brand, I'm like, it doesn't matter if you've seen this person 300 times. Every time they come in, it needs to be the best hour of their entire life. You know, like you need to not only skincare wise, but like we're connecting with people on a really intimate level and we know so much about their lives and they know so much about our lives as well. And so it's having an amazing clientele doesn't come easy. Like your people find you, but they also come to see you as well.
Yeah.
You know, so not only just to get a treatment, like sometimes I have clients that are like, can I come in like every week just so we can like hang out? I'm like, no, you can't, because you don't need anything. We can hang out, but like you don't need to get something done every week. I literally had a client who was like, I want to come every week. And I'm like, girl, we can't do that. You don't need that. But I'm honest, like, you know, I'm like 2 times a month is your max.
You don't put a bed next to Hazel's underneath.
Some people literally would. They'd be like laying in Hazel's bed with her the whole day.
That's amazing.
Yes. I love that Hazel comes to work with me every day though. She's literally my little angel.
She's a boxer.
She is. Yeah. Yes. She's
so
such
cute.
a good girl. She knows when she's at work. She goes into work mode. She comes into the lobby, says hi, and then comes right back to her bed and sleeps the whole treatment. And then, yeah, everyone's obsessed with her.
I love that.
Yeah, she's a good girl.
Cool. Do you know if you were only able to get 2 treatments for the rest of your life that you offer, what would you? So we're not talking about injectables and that's my next question. What 2 treatments would you get? Not skincare, not injectables, just the treatments.
Ooh, probably chemical peel.
Which one? Anyone in particular?
That's a hard question. I honestly love the Face Reality peels. They're super light. You don't really peel that much, but they're not only good for acne, but also pigment. And you can do them like as close as every 2 weeks. So I probably would pick a peel.
Okay.
And then that's a tough one. I would say between laser or microneedling.
Which laser?
Laser hair removal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
I love laser hair removal.
Okay.
But it gets to a point where you don't have any hair left, so you wouldn't really need it. So I guess I would have to go microneedling, but our laser machine's so amazing.
Do you feel like your customers really understand how impactful microneedling and peels are?
Yes, I hope so, because we try to educate them on that. But majority of our clients are starting with peels because, again, they have acne. So their like end goal is to get to microneedling. And when they get to that, it's like a celebration and they're so excited. And then we're working on the scarring and the pigmentation. And so once that is gone, people are like just so obsessed with their skin. I mean, yes, you're beyond over the moon when your acne is gone. But when you get to like actually work deeper, people...
They're stoked.
Yes, they're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Why doesn't Blendid offer injectables?
That's not my forte. That's not my niche. I will refer out plenty of injectors that are amazing, but that's not our thing, you know? So I did for a minute have an injector that rented from me, and I was just like,
It threw off the
yeah,
flow
I'm just
and
like,
the
this is
vibe.
just not us. Like, we're strictly skincare. We don't need to be tapping into an industry that we're not a part of. None of us are injectors. And yeah, I probably honestly won't ever have an injector. And along with like the liability too, there's just, I think being an injector is amazing, but the education is so important. And I think there's a lot of people that overdo it on injections and aren't like good at saying no. So that's just something that's just not for us. So
that shows a lot of integrity.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it could be a great revenue stream, but I don't only care about that. I care about
your patients.
Yes.
And offering something different.
Yes.
The best at what you do.
Yes.
It's one of the reasons I don't do Google. Like, I don't have an in-house Google
If you think
person.
about a lot of med spas too, the injector turnover rate is pretty high.
It is pretty high.
And estheticians. Like, there's a lot of turnover rate in general. So I don't know how I would feel confident like recommending an injector that is a new person every, however often. And
that makes sense.
Injections are like a whole nother level of, can be great, but also can be really scary if done wrong. So,
So no plans to ever
no
introduce
plans
it.
for injections. Yeah.
And if you could only get 3 skincare items, products, for the rest of your life, which 3 are you going to choose? I think I know 2 of them.
You probably do, because I probably post about them all the time.
The Alpha Clearing Serum.
I love Alpha Clearing, but I don't think that would be one of my top 3.
Oh,
it probably wouldn't be Brooks though.
Okay, what are the 3?
Trio for sure. Trio moisturizer is like my favorite moisturizer on the planet.
Okay. Just the regular, not the Luxe, right?
I love the Luxe too, but I like the normal one better for my skin.
Okay.
Yes. The Skin Better Tone Smart sunscreen is my obsession. I think every single person should use it.
That's the blue bottle, right? I have that one.
Yep. And it like gives you, it like tones to your skin, so it kind of gives you a little coverage, sort of.
I was nervous about, because I used to use the gray bottle, which is the white one.
Yes.
I used to use that, but I felt like it was making me more pale than I am.
Yeah. So we actually don't even carry that one in office.
Oh.
Yeah.
But then I started to use the Tone Smart one, and I was like,
you're like, oh, I look good.
I don't even know. What my point is I don't even know if I noticed the difference.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, oh, this is really cool.
It's very minimal, but it looks good. And it's a high SPF count, so you're protected. I love it.
What's the third one?
The third, you're asking me the hard questions. I would say probably...
I like how seriously you're taking this
I'm
question.
like, oh, there's so many that I love. I'm like, if you saw my bathroom, you'd probably throw up.
I've seen the pictures that you share, and I'm like, you need a bedroom for just your skincare products.
I would maybe say hyacinth spray.
I knew you were going to say that.
I love it.
And it's not just water.
It's not just water. It's really good for.
I bought it from you.
Did you?
I bought it from you guys when I was there delivering the
treats.
everything free treats because Brooke was talking about it.
Yeah, so it's an amazing product, and it seems like when you spray it, it's like water, but it's basically like hand sanitizer for your face,
right.
But it doesn't strip you. It doesn't make you dry.
Use it after
kills
workouts.
Bacteria.
Use it at night.
Yep.
In the morning.
So if you're acne prone, you need that spray. You can literally spray it. I even spray it on top of my makeup. Like you can use it any time of the day.
Brooke was telling me you can spray it into your eyes.
You could literally spray it in your eyes and your mouth. I mean, I wouldn't do that, but you can. It's safe enough for babies, bug bites, scratches, open wounds.
Wow.
It's amazing. Yeah. So those are probably my 3, but I would
there's so many other things.
I would probably sneak a few other ones in there.
You're not allowed to do that. Not allowed to sneak anything else.
I know.
My final question is, what do you hope that, because I really do feel like you care about your clients, your customers.
Yes.
I feel like
I love them so much.
Yeah.
Like, and a lot of them have become such good friends too, which that alone is like so amazing that I can go from not knowing anyone to literally being one of my best friends.
Yeah.
That's just so crazy to me.
That's
Sorry, I interrupted your question.
No. That's why you're successful.
Yeah.
I don't think you can teach, like you can teach this. You can say to people, hey, you really have to actually care about these people.
100%.
But that comes from within.
Yep.
And that's just who you are.
If you don't care about someone or you can't care about someone in a very loving way, you should not be an esthetician.
In a true way.
Yes.
Not faked.
Not faked. You have to truly care about not only your client's skin and getting them to where they want to be, but care about them as a person too, because that's how I've retained clients that have stuck with me for 10 years. Like I care about my clients, and I also care about my employees and what they're also doing and saying with their clients as well. Yeah. So everyone that walks into our door or even supports us just on social media or purchases products from us, like they would be able to tell that we care because we will literally help people even over DMs, you know? Yeah. So you just want people to know that you're there. Yeah,
you love
exactly.
them, you care.
Yes. And I know that this industry is just filled with so much misinformation and people recommending things that shouldn't be recommended. So I try to be very authentic and genuine and real.
Good.
Yeah. So
you pretty much answered the question without me even finishing the question. Yeah. I was going to say, what do you want your customers to really know? But you answered it, that you really care.
Yeah.
And that's why you're going to continue to be successful. So how do people, if you're listening, you can, the best way to get in touch with you is Instagram, or you can text our work phone or call us. But Instagram's really easy. And it's Blendid Skincare. Yep. Why not ED? Why is it ID? I just wanted it to be a little different, you know? And I feel like Blendid came because we do a blend of different treatments, products. And so that's kind of where the name sort of came from. It was like me and my family like brainstorming random ideas. That's cool. Yeah. And so Blendid just kind of stuck, and now it's just different than what anyone else's, I guess, name is too, you know? So it sticks out for sure. Yep. Hailey, thank you. Yes, thank you. That was so fun. And thank you for listening and watching. Yes, thank you. If you have any questions, please let me know. And that was amazing. Thank you. Take care of yourself.